Um,
Hello, everyone. Welcome back from Thanksgiving break. This week is a very interesting week as we're back to just the two of us for this week.
yep, it's and it kind of all just kind of transpired just this morning that we realized that was how it was going to be.
Funny,
And
funny thing is, for this is probably the worst week for it to just be the two of us.
I know, and everyone who's listening here will catch on to it in a second. We weren't able to have Matt and Tyler join us this week for different reasons. Tyler's getting a little held up at work tonight, and Matt is a loser and is in Disneyland.
Matt,
So
Matt said he may pop in, but I mean, if you're in Disney, just enjoy the Disney.
yeah, seriously, like we
Speaking of
get it. You know
Disney,
what I mean?
because I was in North Carolina with my parents this past week, I got a
Yeah.
new Disney T-shirt.
All right.
Cause for everyone, Splash Mountain was my favorite ride. I think Splash Mountain was your favorite ride too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then they closed it down, and now it's sad. And I'm like, well, have to find a new ride. And the one I picked that my T-shirt is based off is the Jungle Cruise.
You like that ride? Is like that one of the ones that you like,
Oh
or?
man, I love the Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, I mean, I like it too. It's not one of my top 10,
Oh,
but I like
I
it.
would I would jump on the Jungle Cruise like 3 times in a row because it's always just relaxing and fun.
I'll agree with that. I will agree with that. No, that's cool. I love how we kind of just because of the four of us here, like yes, we all love football, but we also all like have this love of Disneyland, and then our wives all have the obsession with Disneyland too. So we just roll with it, and it usually finds its way into our conversation.
Well, I mean, for the longest time, that like one of the reasons I was like, man, I want to be a football player and go to the Super Bowl, win, and just say I'm going to Disney.
Oh
I
my
don't think
goodness,
they really say that anymore, sadly.
they do actually.
They do, thank goodness, because I'm like every time that I've watched it, I never hear them say it.
Yeah, I remember. Okay, it was after the Super Bowl in 2023 between the Chiefs and the Eagles. I remember watching a Instagram live, and it was from someone who was like, kind of like one of those big content creators for Disney. Uh, just goes into the park and stuff like that, and reports on the food and the rides and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And they were there for the victory parade in Disneyland after the Super Bowl, and all these people that were surrounding them saw like one of like the lead executives for Disney who was in the parade. And they're like, "Oh look, there he goes!" And then people around them start saying, "Here comes Patrick Mahomes!" And people and like this whole group of Disney people go, "Who's Patrick Mahomes?"
It's beautiful.
And I was like, "Well, that's actually I'm not opposed to hearing that in this scenario."
Hey, look, it's Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
Oh, please.
You know that's
Uh,
gonna happen.
oh yeah, probably, probably. Hey,
Uh,
going into our episode here for this week. Look, we've got NFL that we cover here as we normally do, but the reason why this is kind of a rough week to do it, we've talked about doing this here for a couple of weeks. We just didn't expect to be without Matt and Tyler for it here until this morning. But one of the things that we did want to talk about here, because we'd always try and kind of keep an open mind. Sometimes we'll divert into other sports and that sort of thing here. But within football, yes, it's not the NFL, but we do want to talk a little bit about the college football situation right now, specifically with conference championships coming up here this Saturday. Shane, I know college football is not your area of expertise,
nope.
but needless to say, which is the unfortunate thing as far as, oh, great, it's you and me. I'm really excited about it, and I know Matt and Tyler are really excited about it too. Matt's even submitted his picks uh, just for these championships. We didn't hear anything from Tyler, but I think it'll be interesting to kind of see how these conference championship games go. Um, Provides a little bit of high stakes football here before we head into the playoffs, which we know are coming soon. I think generally, yeah, it's going to be an exciting thing, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
I'm glad you are. I am here for the ride. I'm going to try to contribute where I can.
Excuse me. Crying over here. I started laughing and then I started coughing. Oh, there we go. Um, yeah, I mean, please chime in where you can. I mean, doing the little research that you have. But I'll kick it off here just talking about, let's see, we've got these, excuse me, the six big championships that we do want to talk about here. So the first off is the AAC championship. This is between Army and Tulane. I believe Tulane is still ranked in the top 25 by College Football Committee right now. Army, for a while, was actually one of the few undefeated teams in the college football landscape. They're not anymore. They got absolutely clowned on by Notre Dame a couple of weeks ago, but they are still in this championship game for the American Athletic Conference.
Army
So,
is currently number 24, sitting at a 10-1 record.
okay, so they are still ranked. They're just not undefeated anymore because of their loss to Notre Dame.
Which I still don't understand college football rankings. I really
Um,
don't.
yeah, and as we kind of talked about, that's not an uncommon feeling.
I don't get how a team can be like 12, can be like a number 2 ranked team and then lose to someone that's not ranked and only drop like 3 spots, but someone who's ranked like number 5 loses to a number 18 ranked and goes down like 7. I don't get it.
Yeah, I think there's just a little bit of bias there. That's why you normally see this. And is it frustrating? Yeah, 100%. I don't get it myself, but it is what it is, and at least there's still some fun games that you can get out of it. So talking about here with the AAC championship between Army and Tulane, I'm just gonna go venture first here with Matt's pick that he submitted. He's taking Army in this one. I just want to keep this kind of brief so we can shift more into the NFL. I'm actually taking Tulane in this one. I think Tulane is a superior team, and I think they will make it tough for Army. I'm not fully convinced by Army's strength of schedule, despite the fact that they were undefeated until they played Notre Dame. I think Tulane will be a challenge for them.
Now break down the main difference between these two for me and for anyone else. Why are you leaning towards Tulane compared to why Matt might lean towards Army?
Um, I just at an eyeball glance as far as how these two teams will face up against each other. I am of the opinion that Tulane would be the winning team. I just feel like their schedule, the teams that they have played, have been more challenging in that regard. Now, with that said, here, Tulane has had 2 losses, one to Memphis and the other one to goodness, who was it? Oh, Oklahoma. So they've had losses to teams that are like somewhat decent, have had good wins. You know what I mean? Whereas Army, they're 1 loss, they're drubbed by Notre Dame, but I feel like as far as the other teams that they played, not as impressive.
Okay.
So that's the reason for the difference there. As far as why Matt picked Army for that regard, yeah, Army's been riding high, so maybe he thinks that'll continue.
You know what? I'll go with Tulane too.
Okay. All right. Then let's move on here into the Mountain West Conference. Now, this one is intriguing because Boise State has a potential Heisman candidate in a running back. Now, Shane, for reference here.
Oh, I've been hearing about him because he's been projected to the Jazz a couple of times, so.
That's right, but they're normally not projected to be Heisman winners, especially in recent years.
His name's what, like Ashton Jeanty?
Ashton Jeanty, yep, you got it.
Woohoo! Look at me, I don't pay attention to college and I still know a player.
Only because he could be drawn to the Jags.
I mean, Travis Hunter's the higher projection, and honestly, I don't think the Jazz need a third running back. Etienne's okay, Tank was doing good, I don't think we need a third.
Just for reference, Travis Hunter is not a running back.
No, I'm saying we don't need Jeanty.
Oh, you Jeanty. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I was gonna say,
Travis Hunter is a wide receiver / cornerback, which I'm very interested to see what he will do once hitting.
I think they'll make him. I think they'll make him pick between the two. If you want my honest opinion.
I mean, part of me is like, but should they?
I mean, just to help him focus on that and stay healthy, because everything's faster and stronger in the NFL.
Yeah, but I mean, you could do the Taysom Hill route, honestly.
Yeah, but now Taysom Hill's pretty hurt too. So is that really the best idea?
Hey, I'm not. I'll make the rules. I'm just saying you could do it for like a couple plays or two. It's like, hey, you know what? Let's throw in Travis. Like if he decides cornerback, hey, let's throw you in as a wide receiver for a play or two.
If they do anything where they have him do both, that's probably what they're gonna do.
Which I mean, versatility. I like it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. All right.
Anyways,
so
Boise State and
UNLV. Matt's got Boise State in this. In this championship game. So do I. I think they're gonna run away with it, and it gets them a bye going into the college football playoff.
I will also have Boise State because I've been hearing a lot about Ginty, and I saw one of the numbers he put up not that long ago, and I was like, wow, that's a very, very big number.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Even just in a college scenario, yeah, it's pretty dang impressive.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, then let's go to the Big 12 championship. That's between Arizona State and Iowa State. This is probably the championship game that kind of fans are the most divided on. I think they were kind of hoping for a matchup between BYU and Colorado, just because Colorado had Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, Coach Prime, has all the attraction to it. And BYU was at the top of the Big 12 for a long time until the last 2 weeks, where now you have these other two teams that have managed to get wins and come up to this level here. Now, obviously, Shane, myself being Arizona State. Myself being Arizona State alumni, I mean, I'm happy about this. Matt also picked Arizona State. You want my honest opinion? I do actually believe Iowa State is going to win this game, but I can't pick them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it made sense, and just because of that, I will pick Iowa State for you.
Okay, that works.
I will be your Iowa State representative so that you don't betray Arizona.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Although when Arizona loses, I'm going to rub it in your face.
Oh, great. Thanks.
Dude, do you think I'm actually going to know if Arizona loses unless you tell me?
That's probably true. The only reason that I have concern that Arizona State would lose this game is because they did just lose their number one receiver to a broken collarbone.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah, so that does make things difficult.
I will say, just from looking at the bowl games so far, this one I'm like kind of interested in for the main reasons like they're ranked 15 and 16. They have the same record. Like, I feel like that is gonna make it a little bit more interesting. Where I feel like some of these others are like a higher number ranked team versus a lower number ranked. Yes, I realize ranking doesn't matter, but makes me interested.
No, you totally got it. You're totally correct in that regard. All right, moving on into the Big Ten. We've got undefeated Oregon versus versus we are Penn State. So Matt's got Oregon winning this game. I've got Oregon winning this game.
I'm going Oregon.
Penn State's probably not going to be bad, but I think Oregon's got this.
Penn State's ranked number 3, and they're 11-1. Not too bad.
Yeah, people will complain about that though, about how Penn State is ranked that high, because apparently their strength of schedule, they're not that impressive, except for one team that they played, which was Ohio State, who they lost to, and Ohio State just lost to Michigan. So there is a little bit of a complaint about that I'm just throwing out there.
Yeah, I feel like there's always complaints with college.
It's true. There really is. Okay. So that now takes us to SMU versus Clemson. This is our ACC championship game. Matt's picked SMU. I kind of just want to play spoiler on this one and actually take Clemson. It feels like SMU is probably going to be the winning team, but I feel like Clemson could do this. And if that does happen, and let's say Arizona State does win, then Arizona State would take their spot in the first round bye. Maybe that's why I'm thinking Clemson.
I'm going to say Clemson because Clemson needs justice for the Trevor Lawrence injury.
Okay, I like that.
That's the only reason I'm going Clemson. Get the Jaguars' alma mater players to support them.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's a good one. All right, and that really just brings us now to the SEC championship, which is between Georgia and Texas. Matt has picked Texas. Shane, I'm taking Georgia. They're playing in Athens, and when they last met each other in Austin, Georgia curb stomped Texas, and Georgia is undefeated at home.
Is Manning playing for Texas now?
He comes in every now and then. They may throw him in if things aren't going well, but he is not the starter.
I'm just going to go Georgia then.
Yeah, I believe that Quinn Ewers is still the starter.
And I think he's projected somewhat high for draft.
Quinn, yes, he is. Yeah, he most definitely is. We'll see how that comes to fruition. There's different ideas that come in there. Cam Ward's another quarterback projected for the draft. Somehow Shador Sanders with his name will find a way to sneak into there.
Oh, I've been seeing like Shador Sanders like projected like 1 or 2 as like the top coveted quarterback. I'm like, I feel like this is kind of a weaker quarterback class.
Yes, I
It
100%
seems like a
agree.
very defensive heavy or lineman heavy class.
Yes, which is actually kind of a benefit for my Bears. Obviously referring here to the NFL, considering Bears just fired their head coach, and the biggest thing we need right now is an O-line to give Caleb time. Because I would like to bring this out here, Shane, and let me know your thoughts on this. Caleb Williams has actually been playing pretty decently over the past 2 games since they fired our OC, Shane Waldron, and they've replaced him with Thomas Brown. He has been showing that he is worthy of being the #1 pick, kind of like a Kyler Murray, where he didn't seem like he was doing good, but he actually was doing okay. The biggest thing is he needs protection.
Oh, who is that?
Oh,
Matt?
that is Matt.
Matt comes in at the very end just to play spoiler.
Oh yeah. Gotta go in
right.
just for a little bit.
Gosh.
All right, Matt, we're hearing some of the crowd. Where are you at in the park right now?
Right now, we're currently on Rise of Resistance. Waiting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're about to do the fun one.
Yeah. How long's the wait time?
Right now, it's 55 minutes. So, which isn't bad because it's been like 70 to 90.
Yeah, that's what it usually is, I feel like.
Right. Yeah. So what are we guys talking about?
So we just wrapped up college here. And
nice.
Generally, so just to give you a little bit of the synopsis here, we know you picked Army for AAC. Shane and I actually both are taking Tulane.
Yeah.
We all agreed on Boise State for Mountain West.
Nice.
You and I are both taking Arizona State for Big 12, but Shane's going to take Iowa State. All in agreement on Oregon for the Big 10. We know you picked SMU for the ACC, but Shane and I want to say Clemson plays spoiler.
Yeah, which they probably would.
Yeah, and then you picked Texas. Shane and I both picked Georgia.
Of course you would pick Georgia.
Well, the biggest reason that we are, and I explained it to Shane, was that for one, I'm just looking at what's happened when they met each other in Austin, and Georgia absolutely killed Texas, and now to be in Athens for this next game, and Georgia is undefeated at home this season.
Nice.
That's really just my biggest reason.
Oh, okay, not bad. Well, I did just want to make a quick cameo, and before.
Oh, and then did we just lose?
Say cheat again, and they will cheat again this week because they suck.
McKay, I told you I needed to find that soundbite. I couldn't find it.
You do. I thought you did have it ready.
No, I was looking for one, but I couldn't find any. That to give you a little background. I was telling McKay right before we got on, I was like, I really needed to find a soundbite of Chris Collinsworth saying, "Now here's a guy for whenever you bring up Patrick Mahomes."
Fair enough, I like it.
If I can't find one, I might have to create one.
Yeah. Nice. Perfect. Well, I didn't want to distract too much time, but I'll be going into the cave system now, so.
Well, enjoy the Disney.
But wanted to chime in and say hello to everybody. But I will be back next week with all my chaos. So, stay tuned for next week.
Good deal. Love it.
All right.
All right, guys. See you later.
See ya.
Have fun.
Bye.
Oh, good stuff.
Gosh.
Oh,
anyways,
I'm jealous.
I am too. I'm going to April, May though, so I'm not too terribly jealous.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, what I was saying there. How do you feel about the Caleb Williams situation then?
I feel like he's not bad. I don't want to say that he's good because I mean, if we want to talk about like the good rookies, I definitely think for the quarterbacks by far been the Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix show.
Oh yeah, I feel like maybe to add on to that, just to be specific here, I don't think that Caleb is going to be the best player from this draft. I do believe that the other two are better and they're going to have better success in the NFL, but I think Caleb will figure it out, and I think he will be a good QB.
I can see him being a top 16.
Yeah, kind of like Jared Goff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, where Jared Goff, like, you wouldn't put him in the top 3 or top 5, but you would put him in maybe your top 10.
Yeah, exactly.
Unlike Aaron Rodgers, who is now wanting to not play for the Jets next year.
My goodness.
He got the coach fired, he got the GM fired, so he became the coach, the quarterback, and the GM, and now he's trying to leave.
I mean, it's the Jets, though, man. Can you blame him?
Yes, because he basically brought all of his old Packers buddies to the Jets.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you got me there. You got me there. But he's still trying to find someone to blame.
For real. Ugh. Mm-hmm. I just want him to retire.
No, I completely agree. In that regard, let's talk about some big upcoming events for this week in the NFL, Shane. You probably have a matchup in mind that you want to talk about here, so let's dive into that. What do you got?
From this past week, or do you want this upcoming one?
I'm talking this upcoming one. What big hallmark matchup do we got coming in?
Oh man, you know, there's kind of two that I want to touch on because I don't know which two of these would be better. And they're both division rival games, honestly. But since you have one, I'm gonna let you have that one. I'm gonna go to the other one. I'm gonna say the Packers and the Lions.
Right. And it's so funny because if you look at some of the forums online, some of the feelings on it, it's entertaining because you got your typical delusional Packers fans who are just like, oh, we're gonna absolutely curb stomp the Lions.
The Lions aren't the Lions of old.
Yeah, and I don't know if I really don't think I believe it. Now, granted, I recognize that there have been some injury issues recently for the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's going to be enough. I just feel like that's too well of an oiled machine.
And, I mean, you also got to look at it like this. The Lions did just break their 8-year curse of losing on Thanksgiving.
Yes. Now, granted...
It was close.
If it weren't for Matt Eberflus just being Matt Eberflus...
I saw the ending of that game, and I really wanted to text you. I'm like, what just happened?
Oh, are you kidding me? I was there, watching it with family, and I was just like, what?
I had a family friend who just loves to watch football. He's like, why didn't he call a timeout? Why aren't you spiking the ball? Why aren't you doing any of this? I'm like, I have no idea.
It didn't make any sense. Now, it's funny because, the biggest thing you got to blame on that is... What was that?
You got what you wanted, though.
It's true. At least he got fired. But again, the biggest reason why he got fired was because just in the dumbest way possible. I mean, come on.
Because, I mean, you guys lost through, what was it, a blocked field goal, and then by not calling a timeout to kick a field goal.
It would be a blocked field goal against the Packers, losing in overtime after storming in a comeback against the Vikings. So, and then all division rivals, and then not calling a timeout when we should have.
Oh boy.
Embarrassing.
Typical Bears.
Oh yeah, typical Bears.
But anyways, we're talking about the Packers and Lions, and I feel like the Packers have like one or two really good pieces, and everything else is just kind of there.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
They don't really wow me in a lot of stuff, but at the same time, like, I mean, you got Josh Jacobs, which I've always been a fan of Josh Jacobs, and you kind of shut him down. You kind of shut down a lot of that team.
True. It's just, is it going to really be enough? Is my feeling, you know what I mean? And I think it will be,
Yeah, I mean, especially when the Lions have the dual running threat now.
Yeah, Sonic and Knuckles.
I was gonna say, which they are now apparently nicknamed Sonic and Knuckles.
Here's the biggest thing. I do feel like here's my prediction for how it's going to go.
Sonic gets the rings knocked out of him.
What? Sorry.
Sonic gets the rings knocked out of him.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but
have you not seen the video edits of Jahmyr Gibbs getting hit, and they just showed like Sonic rings popping out of him?
I have seen that.
Those are great.
But what I was going to mention is I personally, this is my feeling as far as how this game is going to go. It'll stay closer than I think we will. The Lions will get the win, but Jordan Love will have a really good game.
That's what I think so?
Yep. On it.
See, I actually was thinking about benching Jordan Love in one of my matchups this week.
See, I feel like with the injuries the defense has, without Anzalone, without Aiden Hutchinson, I feel like and even then when he does have games where it looks like he's off to a rough start, like he throws like 2, maybe sometimes even 4 interceptions, he still has these huge games where he throws it deep and he gets a completion and it goes really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that helps him in that regard as far as, let's say, for example, what his fantasy value would be.
I saw Matt say, "Don't steal my pick of the week," but I already did.
Yeah, I was gonna say this was Matt's pick, and you just did. You took it.
To be fair, he's not here to talk about it and commentate it. This is what you get for being in Disney. To be fair, I was looking at all the other matchups, and it was either gonna be most of these are gonna be a blowout, or just teams that are kind of bad and struggling, and I don't really want to talk about them a whole ton.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. But I feel like there are some good ones, as we've mentioned. You've talked about one, and then I'm going to bring up here the other, which is the Chiefs and the Chargers game. Look, I had a really good conversation with my cousin about this at Thanksgiving. He's a Chargers fan.
Oh, my mom was a Charger fan, so I gave her a little talking about being a Chargers fan, and it was a lot of fun.
It doesn't matter if it's the Chargers or the Broncos. I want one of them to just embarrass the Chiefs, especially in the playoffs. And I'm hoping it kind of gets started here with just this game. And I have high hopes for it. I do think it's possible that the Chargers could get the win here.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say the Chargers, I think the Chargers lost earlier this year against the Chiefs, but if I remember right, it was close. Yes, it was. It was 17-10.
Yes, it was close.
And I feel like the Chargers have only gotten better, because that was back in late September, so it's been a while, and I feel like the Chargers have gotten better.
Yes, and I feel like they are actually honestly riding on a real good high. Now, granted, are they perfect? Absolutely not. They really only won that game on Sunday because Kirk Cousins threw 4 interceptions, and if Tyler were here to cry about it, he would.
Dang.
So I'm just saying, like, there's still room for improvement, but I feel like it's only a matter of time here before we're going to essentially see that, yeah, it's not going to happen for the Chiefs again. There's been too many weird close calls that happen that for some reason the Chiefs keep winning, and I don't understand it.
If only we had Matt here to explain how the Chiefs are cheating in almost every single game because they shouldn't be winning in 9 out of the 11 games they've won.
Yep. He'd be there for sure, and he would tell us.
We'll just have to tune in. Everyone will just have to tune in next week to see what he says.
Yep, it's true. How do you think this game is going to fare? Do you think the Chargers will get the win?
I feel like they should, and I feel like that they can, because I feel like the Chiefs are regressing more and more, especially because they are so close to just clinching the first seed overall, if not. Oh, they've already clinched their division too, so.
They have, yes.
Oh no, they haven't clinched their division. They clinched a wild card.
That's correct, yes, or a playoff spot.
Yeah, they're in the playoffs.
Yeah,
but
I believe I'm trying to think if there is a team that has won their division.
The Bills.
Oh, it's the Bills.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Jaguars were also eliminated this past week. Trevor's on
Bears aren't far behind.
IR.
Yeah, it's been rough for you guys.
Oh, if our coach and GM still have a job on the team after this season, I question everything that our owner's doing.
Oh, that would be bad.
It'd be
honestly.
very bad. But I think the Chargers can win, and the Chargers, I think, are in the best position to fight for that win.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, because they got to go in, because the Broncos are 8-5. If the Chargers win, they're in a very, very good spot to clinch a playoff seed. But if they lose, then they're going to be fighting not only the Ravens or the Steelers, they're also going to have to fight the Broncos a little bit more at that. And when those last two games come in, you kind of want to spend the last week, if you can, just resting your best players.
Exactly. And I feel like, yeah, the wins for them are absolutely important at this point. We know this, you know what I mean?
Oh, and they got to play the Broncos in 2 weeks, too. Whew.
Yeah, it'll be tough. I could honestly see at best case scenario, the Chargers are getting the 7th seed.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the most likely scenario as far as what's going to happen. But they have to keep on winning. If they don't win, bad news.
Yep. All right, let's
go.
Point, oh, go ahead.
Last thing I was going to add is I was like, at this point, the Broncos, it's a much better outlook for them.
Which I will say, good on the Broncos. I mean, did we really expect Bo Nix and Sean Payton to just turn this team around and potentially go into the playoffs?
Yes, actually, we did. Remember draft night when we kept talking about how Bo Nix might actually be the best QB in the draft?
Yeah, I'm glad I got him in one keeper league. The other one, all the keepers were basically gone. I decided to get a wide receiver because I didn't have a single wide receiver.
Bummer.
So what happens when you have no wide receivers in a 14-man league that only drafts rookies for draft?
Sorry.
It is brutal at times.
Yeah, I bet. But I mean, I get it. I mean, I don't know. In my experience with what I've been doing within my keeper league that I've done this year, we haven't really had the same situation.
I mean, I just hate because I hate the concept of you never have to cut players from your roster, and then you just draft rookies every single year.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that point at that point is the people that have very good players or got lucky with the rookie, they never have to drop any of those players until those players retire or just do bad.
Yeah.
So then you have a super team for like 7 to 10 years while everyone else is just trying to get a decent rookie.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
Mm-hmm. I honestly think that you should drop close to half your roster if you're in a keeper league.
Yeah, because really the only thing you forfeit is a couple of draft picks if you're not dropping.
There's been 2 sides where there was a bunch of people that were trading all of their draft picks to get good to great players, and then there's the people that are just hoarding all the draft picks and are just like, hey, I'm just gonna bank on hoping getting 2 rookies to hit every single year when I have 10 draft picks and see what works.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Fantasy football is always interesting.
Oh yeah. There's always a wild card element to that. That's for sure. Speaking of wild cards, see what I did there. We gotta talk about our playoff predictions here. Our playoff predictions as far as who we think will be ending up in the respective seeds 1 through 7 for the AFC and the NFC. Matt has given his own voice as far as how he thinks it's going to go, but I think, Shane, with the time being that we have between you and me, we might be able to come to some sort of agreement as far as how we think each of these teams will stack up in the overall hierarchy of the of the playoffs, and it's funny, as I said that, and the reason I stuttered there for a second is because I just had to do a double take at Matt's AFC predictions. He doesn't have a single team from the AFC South in his AFC, so I'm like, well, that's not correct. Oh, that's why I'm like, okay, we can't use his stuff anyway.
I'm just gonna change one of his for him because I'm sure everyone's gonna agree with this, but that means I'm gonna change all of Matt's stuff around just to kick stuff off. Because one of those I looked at, and I'm like, you need to have an AFC South team, and I don't really know how that team's gonna sneak in, considering that they're like 4 games behind everyone else.
Yeah. I was like, what the? Hang on. That doesn't work.
Okay, so let's kick off our AFC. So who do you have as your number 1 seed?
I hate to say it, but it'll probably still be the Chiefs.
You know, I think I'm actually gonna go with the Bills on this one and side with Matt for the main reason they have an easier schedule at the moment. Because their remaining schedule, they got the Rams, the Lions, which will be the tough one, Patriots, Jets, Patriots. Main one I see them losing is the Lions and maybe the Rams, but I doubt that. The Chiefs, on the other hand, they got the Chargers, which gave them a tough time last time. The Browns, the Texans, who have given them a few as well. The Steelers, who are also doing pretty good, and the Broncos again. Also, Matt said my last few picks are wishes. That doesn't make sense, Matt, when you didn't pick an AFC South team.
Oh, that's funny.
So I think I'm gonna say Bills as the number 1 because I feel like they had the easier schedule, but I feel like it's gonna be the Chiefs.
I think you're right.
But I think with all of that said, our number 2 seed is gonna be the opposite of whichever one, either Bills or Chiefs.
Yes. So I think I can agree with that. Let's say that the Bills do get the 1 seed and the Chiefs get the 2 seed.
All right.
I'm okay with that.
Let's go to our 3 seeds. Is it gonna go to the AFC North or the AFC South? Do you think?
North. Steelers have the better record here between and with the Ravens dropping another game here. I think the Steelers will win their division, and they have a better record against any AFC South team, which really the only AFC South team in the hunt is the Texans. So I would say that the 3 seed goes to the Steelers.
Okay. Which would leave 4 seed going to the Texans, which makes sense. Even though the Colts are only 2 games back, I think the Texans kind of got it on lockdown, even though they have taken a massive step back compared to last year.
I know, it's kind of a thing of, remember when we started the season, we were thinking CJ Stroud could be an MVP candidate and the Texans could go to the AFC Championship game at best.
They got Stefon Diggs, which I'm like, oh, they got another good receiving target. That's going to be bad for fantasy value for other players. And then they got Joe Mixon. I'm like, oh, that's a great running target. And then they just kind of do nothing.
Well, Mixon still gets great catches and great touches and still plays well, but obviously, just as far as the passing game, C.J. Stroud's hit his sophomore slump. Tank Dell has fallen into just
a sophomore
he's not
slump.
even talked about anymore. Yeah, there's no talking about him. Nico Collins had his injury for a while, and Stefon Diggs is out for the season. So, I mean it kind of makes sense when you think about that.
For the longest time, I was very sad because I'm like, I like Tank Dell, and Tank Dell did get injured last year. That took him out for the remainder of the season. But when they got Diggs, I'm like, oh, Tank Dell's now wide receiver 3, and he's going to have a rough year this year.
Yeah.
Which part of that is true, because he has been having a rough year, but he is kind of the number 1 option, or number 1 or number 2 option right now, but he's not producing.
True. Yeah, and so with that being said, because here's what my prediction is that the 5 seed probably will go to the Ravens, and if that's the case, then the Texans are in for it as far as being able to actually win a playoff game.
Dang. Okay, 5 seed Ravens, 6 seed though. This is where things are gonna get a little interesting. Cause I think we have our 6 and 7 seed figured out. I just don't think we know who's going where.
Yeah, I do believe I'm one that the Broncos are the 6th seed.
I just don't know if it's gonna be the Broncos or the Chargers. Both of them. I think I might go Broncos, even though. Ugh. See, now I have to pull stuff up. Let's see. They got Colts, Chargers, Bengals, and Chiefs. Ooh, that's kind of rough, honestly. And then Chargers have Chiefs, Bucks, Broncos, Patriots, Raiders. Ugh, I'm gonna go with Chargers, honestly.
Okay.
The the last two games seem kind of easy, so I think they might just pull it out by one. I'm also gonna see who has the better record between them as of right now. Oh, Broncos did win their first matchup, so if they go to a tie, it goes to the Broncos.
True.
Okay, but we got Broncos and Chargers at 6 and 7. I think I'll say Broncos for 6. I'll agree with you here.
Okay. All right. Then that covers the AFC essentially. Now we go into the NFC. Matt put this up here too, but I think it's pretty set in stone. Lions are the 1 seed and Eagles are the 2 seed.
Yep.
What'd you say?
Yep, I would agree. I was scared the Vikings were gonna be the 1 seed for a while.
Yeah, right.
Ugh, I still don't understand how that team's functioning so well with Sam Darnold as the quarterback. Ugh.
Yeah.
Things have not made sense this year in my head for football.
Oh, it's been a wild, wild time, to say the least.
All right, but we got our 1 and 2 seed, our 3 seed. He's saying the Falcons. I don't know if I agree with that. I think the NFC West is gonna take the 3 seed.
You think so? Because there hasn't really been anything interesting happening.
The
Know what I mean?
Seahawks are up by 1, and the Cardinals and the Rams have the same record as the Falcons and the Bucks, who are all tied at 6 and 6. And the 49ers are 5 and 7.
Yeah, and see, that's why I just feel like at the end of the day, it'll just be one of them just sneaking in there. Most likely the Seahawks.
I think the Seahawks would lock in the 3rd, and I think the 4th seed would go to the NFC South. I just don't know who in the NFC South it would be.
It might be the Buccaneers, honestly. I feel like there's a possibility they could
I'm
sneak in
kind of
there.
leaning towards the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
I want to, you know what? I want to see more Baker in the playoffs. I want to see Baker bake.
I'm not against the idea. I like it. You know what I mean?
Matt said the Sea Chickens for 4th seed. Gosh.
I know. I saw that. I saw that. Nice.
All right.
All right, bud.
Let's go to our wild card. So our 5th seed, I think we gotta say the Vikings here because I think they're just slightly ahead of everyone else. That's gonna be hard to catch up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, I'd say they are the 5 seed.
Wow. Are we actually gonna have like 3 NFC North teams in the playoffs this year?
We said it was going to happen. Remember in the AFC, we're also saying that there's 3 AFC West teams.
Yeah, I don't think I expected it to be the Vikings though.
Yeah, but I guess it's a little more comforting than what we thought could have potentially happened, which was, that the Vikings could have even been the 1 seed.
Mm-hmm. But Vikings at the 5 seed. Who do you have as your 6 seed?
Packers.
I got
I do have
Commanders.
the Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right.
I feel like everyone just forgets about the Commanders. I will say.
No, I'm still
Ugh.
going to stick with the Packers at the 6 seed, but I'd take the Commanders at the 7 seed.
You know what? I'll take it, and I think I think Matt is saying, oh, Matt has the Falcons as a 3 seed. I think the Commanders are better than the Falcons, and they do play against each other. When do they play against each other? It's like week 16 or no? It's the second to last game of the season that the Falcons and the Commanders play each other. So you know the Falcons are probably going to be playing to win their division. The Commanders are probably playing to secure a playoff spot.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna say that. We'll go with what you said. I'll have the Packers at 6, and then slide the Commanders down to 7. But don't underestimate that 7 seed team.
Oh, I
Oh,
definitely agree with that.
that would be. Oh, I actually don't know if I like that now. Now that I'm looking at it.
Uh-oh.
So the Commanders and the Eagles are division rivals.
Yes.
The Commanders and the Eagles play against each other in 2 weeks.
Right.
If the Commanders are the 7 seed, we go off our predictions where the Eagles win their division, they play again in the wild card.
That's not uncommon. I think
I
about a
know,
couple of
but
years
just
ago.
be like 2 weeks removed from just playing each other. I I feel like the upcoming matchup is going to determine a lot if those two play against each other in the wild card.
I think it'd be fun. I think it could
I'm
just be.
excited for it, but if the Eagles beat the Commanders this upcoming matchup, I think if they face off in the playoffs, the Eagles will easily beat the Commanders. If the Commanders beat the Eagles, I think it's gonna go either way.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that.
Uh, I'm, so I just want to quickly go through this. Let's see. So the way we have it right now is that Bills and Lions get the bye, or
Yes.
Chiefs and Lions get the bye, whatever. Then we got Chiefs or Bills facing off against the Chargers. I think we agree was the 7 seed.
Which I think it'd be more fun if it, let's say, for example, it was Chiefs versus Chargers, and let's say the Chargers play spoiler.
I mean,
It'd be fun.
heck, even if the Broncos are the 7 seed, we got an AFC West showdown for the wild card.
Yep.
Which I think would be fun. Then we would have Steelers and either Broncos or Chargers, which could be interesting. And then we would have.
Yeah. Oh, but think how fun that would be if it was the Broncos and the Steelers, Russ's old team in the
I
playoffs.
know! So, ideally, Chargers face the Chiefs, because I feel like the Chargers given the Chiefs the hardest time so far. And then the Broncos versus the Steelers. Dang, so many, like, vengeful games.
Yeah.
And then the
That'd be
Texans
awesome.
and the Ravens as well.
Like fun
Which,
to me.
the Texans. Oh, and the Texans and the Ravens, they face off week 17. So that's a possible 2 weeks removed playoff against each other. Oof. AFC would be fun.
AFC would be fun.
NFC, we got Lions on the bye. We have Eagles and who do we say our 7 seed was? Commanders?
Yes. We're predicting that could be like a really cool
That
matchup
would be a
as
good.
well.
That could be a great one. Then we would have Packers and Falcons, which I think the Packers would probably win that one.
Yes. Oh, I thought it was gonna be Buccaneers, but
Oh yeah. I was reading Matt saying, yeah,
oh,
Buccaneers
you're good.
versus. Oh, Buccaneers and Packers, I think would be better.
I think it would be too.
And then Seahawk and Viking would be interesting.
Yeah, definitely not as exciting
And
as
NFC, I feel like is less exciting. The AFC looks very exciting.
yes, and they will probably shift more of those for the primetime games. Will be the AFC matchups.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's potentially predict what the schedule could look like in that scenario for Wild Card Weekend. My guess would be that if it is Chiefs and Chargers, like the way that we have it, that's going to be your Sunday night game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be your what's that? That's the 8:20, the 8:30 game.
Yeah, and then we
Yeah.
got. Ooh, do you think they would do Broncos Steelers or Ravens They would probably do Broncos Steelers, right?
Broncos Steelers is going to be the Saturday night game.
I know we were getting that one because we're in Utah in this
Yeah,
Broncos City over here.
yeah, that'd be a fun one. Unless they put it on Peacock again, like they did with the Chiefs and Dolphins game.
You know what? I'm okay with Peacock, other than having to do like Fubo TV. I don't have Fubo TV. I know one person that has Fubo TV.
Is it Fubu or Fubo?
It might be Fubo. I really don't know. That's how angry I am, because every time I go look at football games, like, hey, we're on Fubu or Fubo, and I'm like, wow. So I get one game this entire week, and it's on
That's
CBS,
great.
or I get the Amazon Prime game, but those are usually not that great to watch anyways.
Yeah, actually, they have been better than the Sunday night games
They have been.
this year. Yeah.
All right, but we got Broncos versus Steelers Saturday night, and then we got Texans Ravens.
That is probably going to be like the first game on Saturday.
Saturday morning.
No. Let me take that back. That's going to be an AFC game. Let's say that that's the Sunday morning game. Texans and Ravens.
And then we move over to the NFC. Let's see, we got Eagles and Commanders. Whew.
Yeah, that is going to be like an afternoon game. That's the best that they
I could
can
see
do
that
with
as
one.
Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, Sunday afternoon for sure.
Let's see, we got Packers and Bucks. That I could see like Saturday afternoon maybe.
Yeah, probably. Most likely.
And then we got our last one, which is Vikings and Seahawks.
That is probably going to be a morning game. That doesn't sound highly intriguing.
Yeah, and that'll be a Sunday morning then, because I don't think we have a. Oh no, we do have a Sunday morning.
That's our Sunday. That's our Saturday morning.
This would be the Saturday morning.
Yeah, that'd be the first game on the docket.
I mean, unless they did they do this last year where they did like all the AFC on Sunday and all the NFC on Saturday?
They did not do that. No, I don't believe so.
I'm like, I wouldn't surprise me if they did, but
yeah, no, I don't think so.
Alrighty. Well, we got 5-ish minutes left. We have our For the Fun that's been staying here for a while, but I think you need to adjust yours because you don't have a defense on yours.
Oh, do I not? Good.
No, you don't. You also picked for the same category twice.
I do. I've got the Chargers defense.
Oh, you do have the Chargers defense. I was reading someone's earlier, and they had two from like the same category, and it confused me for a minute.
I don't. No, you're reading someone else's because I've got them from different categories.
Did I just read something wrong? It's very, very possible.
Oh no, that's true. I do have two from the same category. You're not wrong. I'm an idiot.
I was like,
I don't have a quarterback.
You had two from the
same. I don't have a quarterback. That's funny. I don't have a quarterback. Wow.
I was looking at this and I was like, I know someone messed up somewhere.
Yeah, I did. I do have a defense, but I don't have a quarterback, so that works out well. Let's try this again, shall we? Okay, so how this works is that this is the typical. You have $15 to spend on building an ideal NFL roster based off current players in the NFL. So Shane, you and I we'll rattle off ours first, and then we'll even share Matt and Tyler's as well, even though they're not here. Just to kind of give reference here. So go ahead and explain who you picked, but also explain like where they fall within the price range.
Yeah. So
just before we go into price range, remember that for those who are listening here, you got to pick a quarterback, a running back, a wide receiver. Then there's a wide receiver 2 or a tight end, and then you got to pick a defense.
And we only have $15, and they each fall into different categories. So we'll start like breaking down quarterback. We got Mahomes at 5, Allen at 4, Jackson at 3, Herbert 2, Geno 1. I got Lamar for mine. I feel like he's just a good quarterback. He's a dual threat quarterback. I just like Lamar a lot.
Great pick.
Running back, $5, we got CMC, who I said multiple times that I never draft for fantasy, and I drafted him this year in our league with the 4 of us, and I said, I'm drafting him, and I know he's going to get hurt and going to do nothing for me this entire year, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
Then we got Saquon at 4, Breece Hall at 3, Mixon at 2, Kyren Williams at 1. I went with Joe Mixon because I've been liking what he's been doing a lot this year. I was a little sad you didn't put Sonic or Knuckles on there. Honestly, that would have been more tempting.
Yeah, I had to make it interesting, I guess.
If you put one of them at 3 instead of Brees Hall, oof, I would have been all over that.
I didn't.
Wide receiver at 5, we got Jamar Chase. 4, Jefferson. 3, Amon-Ra. 2, Debo. 1, Amari Cooper. I went with Amon-Ra, even though he's had a rougher year this year. I still feel like he's like a top 5 receiver.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Wide receiver 2/tight end, we got Kittle at 5, Nico Collins at 4, Kincaid at 3, DJ Moore at 2, Evan Ingram at 1. I went with DJ Moore at 2. I almost picked Evan Ingram, but I wanted to maximize my value. I went with DJ Moore at number 2 because I feel like he's got really good hands, and the Bears, I feel like, are just struggling.
Yep, for sure.
And then finally, we got our defenses. At $5, we got the Steelers. At 4, we got the Broncos. At 3, we got the Lions. At 2, we got the Chargers. At 1, we got the Chiefs. And I went with the best defense in the league right now, and I grabbed the Steelers with $5.
Nice.
Bringing my total to 15 exactly.
Like it. Good. It's a good lineup, you know what I mean? I especially like who you're going to have in the backfield with Lamar and Joe Mixon.
I
but
got
at the same time,
my offense, I feel like, is very speedy.
Well, I feel like on that regard too, mine is going to be in a similar situation.
I like yours a lot too. Yours is one that I almost pivoted to as well.
Yeah. I spent $1 on Evan Ingram as my tight end, but I like that just as a good option to have there.
He is a phenomenal tight end, and so I'm not disappointed in that at all.
Then I using $2, I took the Chargers defense. I just like it with Joey Bosa, Derwin James, Khalil Mack.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Setup. Yeah,
for $2, and that was kind of a steal, honestly.
Yeah, well, I thought so too. But then with $3, I like you, I took Lamar Jackson as a good quarterback. Always good for fantasy value too. But then we talked about like how good the backfield was. I already got Lamar who can run, but I took Saquon Barkley with $4.
That was a real good one to grab.
Yeah, and then just to make it even more speedy as far as how far down can Lamar throw, I got Jamar Chase with $5.
I feel like you and me had very similar styles almost, except I just went more defensive heavy than I think you wanted to.
Yeah. Still, I think this is great. You know what I mean? I think it was a good setup. I think we could both get good wins with ours in that regard. All right, and then just to touch up here with the remaining time that we have, let's do Matt and Tyler's lineup. I'll do Matt's first. He spent the highest amount of money on his defense, just like you. He grabbed the Steelers defense with $15 or with $5 to kick it off. Spent $4 on his QB. He got Josh Allen. Spent $3 on his running back, getting Brees Hall. That's a good backfield.
Yeah.
And $2 for Deebo Samuel as his lead wide receiver, which I think is cool. There's a lot of speed behind that, and he could use Deebo or Brees Hall or Josh Allen to all run it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like me, he also used Evan Ingram for $1 to have a tight end.
My biggest thing with his, and I like his a lot, I personally, I just feel like his receiving is a little bit weaker than yours or mine. Speedy, but I feel like the receiving is slightly worse.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Although I will say Josh Allen has been one of the most accurate quarterbacks this year, so maybe that would change a lot of things.
Yeah, good point.
All right. And then finally we got Tyler, which I'm double checking everyone's math to make sure we all used all $15 or someone kept $1 or $2. Everyone used all 15. Okay. So Tyler also went with Lamar Jackson. So it seems like Lamar was very much the popular quarterback candidate.
Yeah.
And then he went Barkley, very similar to you. So got the Lamar and Barkley as quarterback and running back, which I like. He then grabbed Amon-Ra like me, so he went with probably the third. I'm honestly shocked no one grabbed Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I mean, in any other year, yeah, it would be a good grab, huh? I don't know, maybe just because this year he's put up good numbers, but maybe just not as what we're used to, and so for that reason, maybe he wasn't overly picked up. I don't know.
My biggest thing is that I wanted an elite defense because in my head I'm like, I want a defense that's going to get my offense back on the field quickly, and I feel like the Steelers are the best at doing that.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Which is the only reason, because if I have cut a couple of dollars, I probably would, instead of going for Amon-Ra, I probably would have grabbed Justin Jefferson by saving $1 or $2. Let's see. He also went with Amon-Ra at the 3. He got Evan Ingram like you with $1, which I don't hate. It's good tight end. And then he went for the Broncos defense at number 4.
Which is a good defense too, so I get it.
And see, we had the Lions listed at 3, and I'm like, would we have changed it differently going off of what their defense is when healthy? Because if we put Aiden Hutchinson back on that Lions defense, would more of us have jumped towards the Lions defense?
Maybe.
I feel like I still was stuck with the Steelers a little bit, but maybe instead of grabbing DJ Moore, I probably would have gone Evan Ingram and then using that adjustment to go to Justin Jefferson. I don't know. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I don't know. I still like the lineup. I think if I were to look at this again, maybe make some of my changes in that regard. Maybe trading it. The Chargers are a good defense, but I prefer to maybe get a better defense if I could swing it. You know what I mean? And I like Evan Ingram, but I mean, maybe potentially getting a chance at a DJ Moore, a Nico Collins, or even a George Kittle. That's saying something. But
yeah,
I have more for it.
I mean, I gotta say, I definitely think that Barkley, looking at now, like if we were going off of solely this year, I think Barkley should have been the $5 instead of CMC, because CMC was. Whew. But CMC, as we have discussed many times, when he is healthy, he is one of, if not the best running back.
It's very true.
It's just, I think the injuries kind of scared all 4 of us away from him from doing this.
I think you're right.
I feel like we should redo this either next season or again this season, but change up some of the players or change up some of the price tags for some of the people currently listed.
Be open to that, just making the slight little change here and there.
Because, I mean, I know for a fact that Matt would never pick Patrick Mahomes.
What do you mean? He might surprise you.
I mean, no, I don't think he ever would.
Oh, no. You're right. He would not.
Now, gosh, we could even do this for all-time players. Oof.
Oh yes, I think we should do that. Honestly.
I was slap Tom Brady at that $5 spot. I know where Matt's gonna be spending $5 on.
Yep, it's true. Oh man, we'd have to put him there. I feel like
the wide receivers would be crazy because you got players like Randy Moss,
Jerry Rice.
Oh man, that would get interesting.
I think it'd be fun.
We'll have to circle back to that and do that with possibly like all-time greats.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Bears defense.
Yeah, the 85 defense.
I was like the 85 defense. Oof. It makes me happy.
Yeah, we'll definitely consider that here in the future.
We got a lot of for the fun ideas kicking around. I think we'll have more coming through the pipeline soon enough.
Yes.
Because I think when we were rattling off, we listed like 12 different ones.
Yep, and we got to get through all of them.
Whoo! But with that will conclude our episode for the week.
That was fun. It's been interesting kind of being back in that position of just the two of us doing it. But hey, it was good. It was fun. I liked it.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, we definitely missed Matt and Tyler. They are a great addition, but it was very fun to do it just us two again.
Yeah, I agree. Good stuff, man.
All right, we will see you all next time.